Flight attendant, prepare the cabin for takeoff. We take off. People, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't hold it. I cannot hold it. Now, people, we've all said this shit in public before. I don't do that in public. I'm a hold it. I'm a hold mine because I don't shit in public. Let me explain something to you, people. You don't tell shit what to do.
Okay, so today, everyone, we do have a very, very special guest. Now, this man is a comedian, actor, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, writer, producer, or we all know him as just a jack of all trades. This man is Mr. D-Lai, the comedian. Yeah.
You left out author.
Author, yes, sir. That too, most definitely, because I just read his book. The Journey Behind the Smile.
Yeah, that's it.
I did love the book, a lot. It gives more of an in-depth journey behind, the pain. It's just a beautiful journey. Let's just say that.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's definitely very, very interesting to look at because it just gives a really deep.
It's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Mr. D-Lai, you were born September 17th, 1985. Now, 1 month after your birth, in October of that same year, there was a situation that did happen in the surrounding areas in the South, like Louisiana, Florida, and all that, where there was a hurricane called Hurricane Juan disaster. Now, for something as as that happening, would you kind of consider something that's destructive and horrific, like a hurricane, to be something that would apply to your life story?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one, Kai. Um, I I felt like that in my early stages. I felt like it was this windstorm of trauma and trials in my life, and that's a great metaphor to compare it to because that's how it felt.
Mhm.
When you're a young kid and you don't have any explanation and nobody's giving you any true guidance on why things are happening, and you just find like you feel like you're in the eye of the storm and it's never going to end. So
Correct.
that's a perfect comparison to it. Yes.
Yes, I was trying to do oh, let me just add this in,
That
because
was good. I like that. I like that. I like that. You did your research.
yes, sir.
You have done your research. Yeah, a lot of hurricanes in Louisiana can turn it. Bravo. I gotta give you your flowers. Bravo.
I'm trying. But I know that you did mention in your book, because I know the first 10 to 11 chapters in your book, you talk about your life. Like you just talk about you go in depth from mom, passing away, really, really tragic. It was you was your 2-year-old older sister. You were 9 months, and then you were getting ready to be uprooted to Michigan.
That's right.
And then that's when your grandmother ended up intervening, and she took care of you guys. Now, how did you really navigate those challenges with, if you think about it, your story, you did have an unstable home life.
Mhm.
After your mother tragically passed, and you and your 2-year-old sister were potentially being uprooted to Michigan, how did you kind of deal with that? Like, what was going through your mind at that time?
Well, at that stage of life, in that early stage, you don't know. You know what I mean? You just going through. You just trying to figure this thing out, and you just keep living. And as you get older, you reflect on it, and you kind of try to put a better understanding on it. But in that moment, in that time, you're not thinking about it. You just know that some tragic things are happening around you, and you don't know why. But you still have a core of people that are there for you, regardless of if you know exactly what's going on or if they're explaining what's going on, you know you're loved.
Mm,
So that's what kind of kept me going through at a time like that.
that's that. That's all. That's the one thing about growing up and stuff. Like when you're just going through the waves.
Right,
You don't know what's
right.
happening, gonna happen next. You're just like, okay, let's just see what's happening. Let's just keep going through the waves. Like let's just let's just sit first, you know.
Hmm.
Now, you did talk about this, you did talk about you were you your grandmother had 10 children, grown children.
Hmm.
But you did
Yes.
also mention that in your home, it could have been 7 to 8, 12 people running in and out. And which was really interesting because, at that time, because you're an 80s baby. So growing up
Right.
during the epidemic of the crack epidemic at that time from the 80s and the 90s, there was you witnessing of violent family confrontations, like uncles
Hmm.
and aunts stabbing each other, brothers and sisters and stuff. And
Yes.
how did you, as an 8-year-old at this time, how did you know that this wasn't the life for you? Because at 8 years old, like, you just want to,
Right. You would think you'd be doing some 8-year-old stuff like that
yeah.
most kids would be doing at that age, but it was traumatizing. It was absolutely traumatizing. But again, in my head, I'm thinking that this is just something I have to go through because when I get to a certain age and when I can kind of fend for myself, I'm getting myself out of this position.
Mhm.
Like my mind was made up at an early age because I knew like this cannot be a normal life for me to be seeing all these traumatic things
Mhm.
and I'm going to school with other kids, so I'm seeing other kids, and they don't seem like they're dealing with what I'm dealing with. So my notion was let me just grow up and get into a position where I can take care of myself and I can just get away from this environment and just create my own environment. That was my thought process.
Yeah, that's awesome. As like an 8-year-old, you know that you're seeing what's around you and it's not good. It's very traumatic. It's very destructive.
Hmm.
It's unstable. Like it's a lot. And
Yes.
an 8-year-old shouldn't think about that. An 8-year-old should think about, what I'm going to eat for snack, eat for dinner or whatever. And even when you mentioned how in the morning when you wake up for school, nobody woke you up. It was more of just
No.
your own self up. You dress your own self. Either you eat
Yes.
breakfast or you don't. You take your own self to
Right.
the bus stop. So
Absolutely.
you had to take
Yeah.
care
That and that when I look back on it, like that taught me independence. Like I know I've got something to do, and I live that way today, and I instill that in my sons. Hey, man, nobody should have to make you get up to make a living. No one should have to make you do that. You should be instinctively in tune with yourself to say, listen, I know I got something to do. I planned the day before. We knew that you and I had a meeting for today at 12. I knew yesterday. So my idea was, okay, I'll make sure that I'm on time for this. And that childhood brought me to this,
of that.
being on time, making sure that I'm, where I'm supposed to be and just being responsible. Because that could have very well went the other way. Like nobody's telling me to do it. Maybe I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You could have just been like, she's
I
getting the
I
status.
I'm
That's
I'm just gonna
okay.
oversleep for school. I'm just gonna but again, if I do that, then that deflects from my plan, and my plan was to get out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I have to be responsible. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you wanna get out of the house, you can't rely on them. You have to get up in the morning. You have to make sure that you're getting your homework done.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the responsible man in this position if you wanna get out of this condition.
Correct, correct. Now, which and since you said that, that is also why you break generational curses. That's another one too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you know, later in your book, you do talk about your grandmother did pass away.
Mhm.
Um, then you ended up moving in with your Aunt Marie.
Yes.
Now, with your experience with living with Aunt Marie, where you found yourself under care of a woman who, was compassionate, she nurtured you, she showed concern, but she also did speak words that
Mm.
she did not regret. And and with that, how did this influence your school life? Because I know you said that children used to snap on you because
Oh,
you weren't
oh,
you didn't have any good clothes and good shoes. You didn't have a good home life at all. So
right.
you did with the best what you had, but they still bullied you for it. And how were you able to how did that transformation give you the ability to use your humor as a defense mechanism to shield from the bullies?
I looked at it like I know physically, my appearance is very distasteful, y'all. I'm clean, but you've never seen these brands ever. You never seen none of these brands. You never seen nothing that I'm wearing. So I knew the environment that I was going into was very hostile. So if it didn't get to a physical altercation, I'd at least need to be able to defend myself verbally.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just, before I even walked out the house with my crap on, because I got on some crap, I would already start thinking of different jokes that I could say on different people,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody's gonna hit me with this. I got on overalls, okay?
Oh God.
Overall, I got on overalls and moccasins. Like somebody's gonna say something. You're not gonna get through a whole school day in overalls and a moccasin. And I had these Jordans. I had some Jordache jeans. I wore these like 3 days out of the week, these Jordache jeans. And I had a members only jacket. And I
Oh.
just wore that year round. That was just like my year round. That was like my all-purpose jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my personality would win them over, and where they would even forget that I was even wearing this. You know what I mean? Especially, okay, well, he's gonna say something back to me. He's gonna be snapping back quickly. So, okay, let's just be friendly with him. Let's just be cool with him. And that just kind of transpired, and people just kind of, they fell in love with my personality. And from there, they got a chance to see, despite these clothes, man, that's a cool dude. You know what I mean? He's just in a different environment. He's in a different housing wise. He's in a different environment.
Mm.
But yeah, that me being able to defend myself verbally, it was definitely it was a weapon
You
as
used the
much.
mouthpiece.
Yes, yes,
Now, I know that you attended. You're from Alexandria, Louisiana.
that's correct.
Not from the city, but from the country.
That's
Um,
right. The country, yes,
Now, you did go to college at LSU,
that's right. That's right.
and you did describe in your college years, you spoke of experiencing indescribable peace. And can you just elaborate on this phase of your life, how it shaped your
Mhm.
journey? Additionally, with you working at the Loggy Bayou and
Oh,
Whataburger, how did these
oh,
experiences influence your career trajectory?
okay. I'm glad you asked, Kai. I'm so glad you asked that. Listen, I worked those jobs when I was in college because it let me know that I cannot work for anybody else.